Hello, my name is Larry Crumpler. I'm a research curator here at the New Mexico Museum of Natural History and Science. And we're at the Albuquerque volcanic field, parts of which are the Petroglyph National Monument that many of you are familiar with. Well, what we're going to do today is talk a little bit about the rocks that make up the escarpment and talk a little bit about the individual stories and talk a little bit about the difference between volcanic rocks, igneous rocks, and intrusive rocks. Go.
I'm Jayne Aubele, geologist and educator at the museum, and we are surrounded by volcanic rock called basalt. Basalt's a very fundamental type of volcanic rock. It forms lava flows frequently. It's common in New Mexico and in Hawaii, Iceland, the ocean floor, and even other planets. Basalt and all volcanic rock are considered igneous rocks. The word igneous comes from the Latin word fire, and these are appropriately named. All rocks tell a story. The story that rocks tell is usually about how they were formed, when they were formed. Igneous rocks are formed always by crystallization from a molten magma within the earth. Sometimes rocks form underneath the earth from that magma, and those are called intrusive or plutonic, and a typical example is granite. Sometimes they make it all the way up to the surface. When the magma erupts and the rock solidifies, it becomes what we call extrusive or volcanic. These volcanic rocks were erupted from the Albuquerque volcanoes about 200,000 years ago, which is actually geologically young.
So here's one of those black basaltic volcanic rocks that you see all around us here and are quite common in New Mexico. And it looks like just a simple black rock. There's thousands of them all around me here. What else can you say? Well, if you look closely, you'll see that not only are there minerals on the inside that we'll see in a second, but on the outside of the rock there are all these little tiny holes. And these holes have all the characteristics of a bubble. In fact, that's what they are. They're bubbles, but they're bubbles that were frozen into the lava flow as it cooled long ago. So you might say they're sort of fossil bubbles in the volcanic rock, or the lava flow in this case. So we see these in many volcanic rocks. They're quite common. Whenever you see these little bubbles, you know that it's probably a volcanic rock that was erupted to the surface of the earth. But also, if you look carefully, sometimes you'll see that they occur in bands. They occur more clustered in zones on the lava flows, or they'll maybe be more at the top of the lava flow in a road cut than at the bottom. So that is really telling you something about how the lava flows are erupted and how they flow across the surface, and how the bubbles actually tell you a little bit about the history of the lava flow itself.
Most people think that basalt is dull, black, boring. It all looks alike. One of the reasons for that is because of the surface coating. All rocks at the surface of the earth weather due to wind, rain, snow, temperature, and what you're looking at here is a weathering surface coating. You have to get beneath that surface coating to see the constituent minerals that make up this rock. So you can find small pieces that have broken off naturally, or sometimes bigger pieces that show the rock through the weathering surface. And when you look at a piece of the rock like that, you can see the constituent minerals. The white crystals you see are a variety of a mineral called feldspar. You can see some green, glassy looking, roundish minerals. That is a mineral that geologists call olivine. You might know it better as peridot or peridot, the August birthstone. You can also see some dark material in there, that's volcanic glass, and dark minerals such as minerals called pyroxene magnetite.
Well, in addition to that, that's the inside of the rock, but let's go back to the outside now. There's something else going on. If you look at it up close, on this particular rock, there's kind of a darkish area here, and it's like coating the outside of this rock. This rock is obviously broken, so you're looking at the inside. So what's this dark coating doing there? Well, if you look at it even more closely, you can see that it's kind of glassy. So it's glass on the outside of the rock. What's that? Well, it looks like this is what we call a fulgurite, which is where the lightning has struck the rock and actually literally fused the minerals into glass at the surface. So this is just another way of saying that every single rock has a story, and some of them have a more varied story than others.
Don't forget, every month on the first Monday of each month, you can send us a photograph and description of a rock or mineral or fossil you might have in your collection or you might have just found. One of our experts at the Natural History and Science Museum will do their best to identify it for you.